developing the route as it currently exists. And then we have Nehbless. And Nehbless is sort of a newer runner to this, but he has a really great time. I think he has like a 126. So this is going to be a great race. And so they're off. First thing they're going to do is they're going to go pick up the hammer from the shop, and then they're going to change their configuration to turn the memory cursor on and the dash on. And then they're going to perform this item glitch. So they're going to basically turn that hammer into a knight's armors. And this version of the game, PSP version, basically by pressing R or L and X at the same time with the memory cursors, you can basically turn a weapon into an armor or vice versa. And so they're going to get 5 of these knight's armors real quick here, 1 for each character, plus 1 to sell. And then they're going to get all the potions, antidotes, and phoenix downs they're going to need for the rest of the game. And so this item glitch is sort of the basis of the whole run. It's going to allow us to get really good weapons and armor early in places we shouldn't normally be able to do that. So we're going to be using it quite a bit, and we'll sort of call it out every time it happens. So once they get that, they're going to talk to the king, then they're going to leave the castle and head up to this castle up north where Garland has taken the princess, and our job, of course, is to rescue the princess. So these guys are going to walk up to that cave. They're going to hope to not get too many encounters. Looks like Double got some pretty good encounter luck. 2 encounters is pretty good. You can do it in 1 or even 0, but that's pretty rare. So Double's going to come in here. He's going to pick up this leather cap, and basically we're going to use that to glitch that into a weapon called the Judgment Staff. And the Judgment Staff is a very late game staff. It doesn't have a huge amount of attack power, but one of the nice things about that Judgment Staff is if you use it as an item, it'll cast Flare, which is the top level black magic spell. It's the highest black magic spell, so it's going to make quick work of a lot of enemies. It's going to defeat big packs of enemies all at once because it's an AoE type of spell. So here Double's going to go in. He's going in to face Garland, and he's just going to attack with the Judgment Staff. It does do enough damage that they can kill it in 3 to 4 hits, basically 1 round. If it took more than that, we might use the Judgment Staff for Flare, but the Flare animation takes a long time, so it's quicker to obviously just attack with any weapon. So in this case, it's quickest just to attack with everybody in that Judgment Staff. So, yeah. So after defeating Garland, they're going to go back, take the princess back to the castle. Then when they're done talking to the king, they're going to talk here to the princess and get an item called the loot. And this loot item is something that we're going to need towards the very, very end of the game to progress to the bottom floors of the final dungeon. So we get it now. If you try and leave without it in this version, the princess will stop you and come back and give it to you. So you can't miss it like you can in the NES version. So once they've done that, now we're just going to get a couple cutscenes here where they're building the bridge, and all is good. So real quick, want to talk about tiles on the overworld. There's each of the different tiles. There's like forest, grass, swamp. Each of them have different encounter rates. What they're going to want, the forest actually has the highest encounter rate of any tile in the game. The grass is kind of a medium, but still kind of high. Swamp actually has less. Things like desert have even lower, and the sea and the rivers have a very low encounter rate as well. So you're going to see them try and avoid forest at all costs. There's definitely times when they have to cross the forest. But they're going to try and avoid that, and then sort of counterintuitively, that if they can get on a swamp tile, they'll want to get on that. So you'll see a lot of getting off of the grass and getting into the swamp.
And I'm back. Sorry about that.
Welcome back, Forsyth. So, anyway, these guys both had pretty good Garland fights, and they're now on their way to the next area. Now that the bridge is repaired, they're on their way to Provoca. So, the early part of this game is kind of two parts. Is one is like opening up more areas of the world, and the second part is going to be a fetch quest. So right now, you know, we were confined to just that little area of land. Now that the bridge is opened, we can go to Provoca, and then once we get there, we're going to get the ship, which is going to let us cross the ocean.
So I don't know if you've talked about the party composition for this run yet.
No, I haven't talked about the party yet. Just talked about sort of the
Let's talk about the pirates first, because we got that coming up on Double's stream here.
Yeah.
So what Double's going to do here is he's going to use his Judgment Staff as an item on several of his characters, probably the Thief and his mages, to do in order to kill them all in one go, as opposed to attacking them with a staff each individually, because that would take up to 3 rounds of combat, which would waste a lot of time. Easiest way to clear this or another pack of enemies throughout the run is going to be using that Judgment Staff.
Yeah, the Judgment Staff is usually powerful enough to kill every enemy. There's a couple times sort of in the later parts of the game where you want to have the mages use it because they have higher intelligence stats. But for right now, pretty much any character can kill pretty much anything. Of course, you really don't want to be killing enemies. You want to be running away because that is the fastest. So, so now they're on their way to Elfheim, where they're gonna probably duck in the city and pick up some gold needles, maybe, and then they're gonna head to the Marsh Cave, which is the next area of the game. But why don't you go ahead? This is probably a good time to talk about the party composition.
Sure. So you'll see both Dubldrop and Nehbless are using the same party formation. In fact, I think everyone in the tournament is using the exact same party formation. It's currently believed to be the optimal party for this speedrun category. We take advantage of the unique strengths of each of these characters in order to get through the route. Most notably, the warrior has access to the greatest amount of armor and equipment, and is pivotal for utilizing the equipment glitch that we take advantage of throughout this run. So he is the crux of switching. I did not do that. What happened there? Oh. But he is the key to many of the equipment glitchings that they'll be performing throughout this run. The Thief, with the equipment that we're able to glitch and the levels of our characters, is actually the strongest melee fighter that we're able to have in this run. So he's been rebalanced considerably from earlier versions of the game and is very useful in this version, as well as having high agility, which increases his chance to act first and to run away from battles, which is key early on in the run. And then additionally, we also have the Black Mage and the White Mage. Each will be picking up spells later in the point that will help with the latter half of the run. In particular, we'll be getting teleport on the Black Mage in order to save us some time backtracking in dungeons and towns. And we'll be using, and they also learns haste, which will be key in some of the last couple fights in the game in order to speed them up or try to shorten them in the number of combat rounds. And then finally, we have Hilara on the White Mage, which we'll use just for healing throughout the menuing because it's faster than using potions, as well as it will be critical on the final fight against Chaos for keeping our party alive.
Yep. So both of these guys are just getting completely stopped in their tracks by these wolves who have really high agility stats early in the game. So at this point, with the equipment they have, they're difficult to run from, and they're both just getting lots of ambushes and lots of bad luck running here. So that's sort of par for the course at this stage of the game. You just really want to hope that, you know, you can get through with running easily and get as few wolf encounters as possible. But yeah, they're neither of them are getting good luck. Double actually stopping to heal because he's been attacked so much his warrior almost died.
But I mean, one thing you'll notice about, a lot of these runners, they're trying to run away from these encounters because running is the fastest way to deal with the encounters, provided that they're able to run quickly. If they can't run quickly, or if they get stalled trying to run, it may be quicker for them to just cut their losses and try to use the Judgment Staff to clear out these packs of enemies. There's no real set pattern for how either of the players will deal with these encounters. It's really up to them, and one of the biggest differences you can see in skill between runners throughout this run.
Yeah, I mean, RNG is a huge factor in this game, but so is also situational, like reading. What am I going to do here? Like, I've got this tough group of enemies. It's probably, if I got good luck and ran the first time, that would be the fastest. But on average, it's probably going to take me 5 or 6 attempts to run from this pack. So I might just decide to kill it, take a small time loss rather than risk a big time loss.
I mean, I've started studying one of my runs, and one thing I noticed is that even in the fastest scenario, an encounter took like a minimum of 5 or 6 seconds, even if you were able to run perfectly on your first opportunity. So
it's
every encounter they're getting is wasting as little as 6 seconds, and potentially more if enemies keep attacking. Every enemy attack is maybe a second or longer, depending on which attack they choose to use. So it all adds up over the course of this run, and the runners are hoping probably for a target time of 1 hour and 30 minutes for this run, but depending on the RNG, it may be longer than that. And if they have significantly poor RNG, it may be even longer than that, upwards of the 140 range.
Yeah. So we saw Nehbless defeat Pisco Demons. Dubldrop's on them right now. They're just going to continue to use the Judgment Staff to wipe out all of them. You can get between 2 to 4 Pisco Demons here, and they can hit hard too, so they both healed up ahead of time. And so defeating the Pisco Demons is sort of the second mini-boss, if you count the Pirates as the first one. Well, and Garland's before that, so I guess the third. And they're guarding this crown item, which we need to take to Astos. And this is sort of the first link in the fetch quest. That is the beginning of this game to basically open up the entire world for us. Nehbless got no encounters in the Marsh Cave because the Marsh Cave is actually a very low encounter dungeon. It's not uncommon at all to get 0 encounters. I mean, you're going to get, I'd say, about maybe 25 to 30% of the time you'll get no encounters. So it's completely possible. And Nehbless actually now all the way up to Astos, and so he's significantly ahead here at this point. On Astos, they're going to use Judgment Staff with both of the mages because they can do usually over 200 damage, and then they just attack with the Judgment Staff on the Warrior and Thief because their intelligence is lower, and sometimes you need a little extra attacks or damage to the boss in order to take him out in one round. So that's why they're going to use that on those 2 characters.
Double getting into an encounter here with Gas, which are just paralyzing his party. A lot of the undead enemies you can see in this early part of the game have the ability to paralyze our characters on attack, and it actually can stack. So I mean, a character that's already paralyzed could get paralyzed further, and it's just that much harder for you to act with that character. If enough characters get paralyzed, you may see them taking a safety option of using this Judgment Staff to clear out a group of enemies, or if the entire party gets Judgment Staff, they're going to lose probably a lot of time and hope that they can recover from that at some point.
Yeah, that's the worst, is when you get all 4 characters paralyzed. That's called a paralock, and you can lose a lot of time or die if you never break out of it. Their armor that they have is usually enough so they only take a couple of damage per turn, but it can last multiple rounds, especially if you have a lot of enemies in the pack. So they want to avoid that at all costs. But unfortunately, other than always killing enemies that can paralyze you, there's not a whole lot you can do to prevent it. It's pretty rare, but they're just going to take some risk and try and run from most of those enemies because it's faster and you can usually run. So.
Unfortunately for Double, Astos used Death on his Black Mage, which slows him down even further. But more importantly, Astos is a key source of experience really early on in the run, so the Black Mage is going to miss out on that early on and have to make it up a little bit later.
Yeah, so basically when we get to that grind, there's a small grind coming up in about 20 to 30 minutes, and he's going to have to probably do a couple of extra battles on that, just to make sure that the Black Mage gets to the level he needs to be. So Nehbless already at Matoya's cave. This is pretty good considering his start. So basically, after you defeated Astos, he has the Crystal Eye item, which we're going to bring to Matoya, who's blind, and that'll let her see again, and she rewards you by giving you the Jolt Tonic. And that Jolt Tonic is what we're going to use to wake up the sleeping or Elven Prince. And then the Elven Prince has another item that we'll use to continue the fetch quest and continue on with the game.
Double's getting an unusually high number of encounters this early in the run, so with any luck, his luck can turn around later in the run, but it's going to make him seem to be several minutes behind Nehbless at this point of the run.
Yeah, he is several minutes behind, but it's totally... There's so many ways that Double can make the time up. Just good luck. Nehbless could get some bad luck. He could get paralocked. He could have a death. There's a lot of different things that could happen. So, and there's plenty of enemies left to come. So just RNG could just make up that difference, even though Double's probably about 2 minutes behind at this point.
There's absolutely plenty of opportunities for Double to catch up later on, but it's going to depend on the RNG giving him a little bit of a break later on, and perhaps trying to set back Nehbless a little bit.
Yeah. So Nehbless has made it back to the Elven Castle, and the Prince wakes up and gives you the Mystic Key. And the Mystic Key is the item that you can use to unlock any locked doors in this game. So we'll be putting that to a couple of uses here, but it definitely is like the next item you need in the fetch quest, because the next item is behind a locked door. But first, they're going to go back into the Elven Castle and pick up a chest with a mithril hammer in it, and they're going to use that to glitch the mithril hammer into Thieves' Armlets, which is a really nice item that has high defense and high a +5 to your agility. And you'll notice he's glitching them into all 3 of the armor slots per character. And so that's basically going to give him +15 agility, which is going to make running from enemies a lot easier. So the Thief's Armlet's a really nice item. Really helps out early in the run to start running better from battles, especially those sea encounters. And then Nehbless is going in here, and he's going to pick up the gold needles. He must not have picked them up before. It's sort of runner preference as to whether you want to pick them up now or the first time you pass by Elfheim.
Double the king of multitasking over here.
Yeah. He loves to type in the chat while he's racing. But there are definitely times, there's a few cutscenes, and also when you're just trying to run from enemies like Sahak and Big Eyes that we see over here on his side, that you have time to type a few quick things.
So Double reaches the Elven Castle finally, so he'll be giving the Jolt Tonic to the Elf Prince and receiving the Mystic Key. The key's a big item that we need early on. It unlocks a number of treasure rooms throughout the game that have been previously locked and inaccessible to us. One of which is located in the same castle, which we've already seen Nehbless do, and the second one Nehbless is coming up on right now here at the very starting Cornelia Castle. Inside here is a nitro powder, an item we need to trek over to Mount Dwerger and to give to one of the dwarves over there. As Sigma mentioned earlier, we're a little landlocked this early in the game, and the sea in particular we've been blocked off from the vast majority of the sea. So we're going to hand it over there and then have them use that to open us a canal that will let us access the rest of the sea. And then we'll be able to continue on to our adventure next destination being the Earth Cave with a quick detour in Melman first.
If you want to, if you blinked, you just missed Double do the Thieves Arm menu. He did that so fast. It's crazy how good he is at doing those menus. He's definitely one of the better runners when it comes to doing the glitch. So he made up a little bit of time there for sure. I mean, Nehbless did a good job on the menu for sure, but Double's just on another level from everybody. So yeah,
I will be right back in a second.
Yeah, sure. So yeah, Double's on his way, picking up the nitro powder just as Nehbless enters Mount Durgar, where he's going to give the nitro powder to the dwarf. Like Forsyth mentioned, we're going to blow up the canal, and then there's a little cutscene here while we wait for the canal to blow up, which is a chance to take a breather or get impatient if you're me. Some people like the break. I'd rather keep going, but it's going to be about at least a 45-second cutscene here. So I'm looking in the chat, and Double says, "Let's hope I don't get petrified." Well, we talked about, we saw Nehbless pick up those gold needles. It looks like Double's opting not to pick up the gold needles, and that can be a run ender right there. If he gets any character petrified, he's going to have to go without them, because you can get them in Elfheim, and I believe it's on either Onrak or Gaia are the only places where you can pick up the gold needles. So if he gets it, he's going to be down a character, and if he gets more than one character, it's going to be really tough for him. So I'd say, in my experience, about 50% of runs you end up getting petrified by enemies. So it's a real big risk, but he's taking that risk, and I don't think he needs to. He made up a lot of time there. He's only about a minute behind Nehbless now.
Yeah, it's a pretty significant risk at this point of the run to not be doing that. But
Yeah.
Double being one of the most experienced runners, he may know how to deal with it more than most runners. Because a lot of runners will just pick up the needles and take the risk, but they may not be familiar with how to recover from a character petrification later on. Yeah.
I mean, if you're doing world record attempts, it's totally a thing to not pick them up and just say, well, if I get petrified, then I'll just reset. But this is a race. And he's, like I said, he's made up a lot of time. He's really not that far behind. I don't think that was necessary, but we'll see what happens. There is a gold needle in a chest in the Earth Cave if he would get petrified there, and then like I said, if he gets petrified anywhere else, it's gonna be a long time before he can recover from that.
So Nehbless reaches Melmond, and he's the first person to go into the weapon or the armor shop here and pick up an item called the Steel Gloves, and we'll use that to perform probably the most important equipment glitch in the game. We'll turn the Steel Gloves into a sword known as the Barbarian Sword, which is the strongest weapon in the game in this particular version of in this particular remake of FF1. It's usually only obtained from the bonus content that is exclusive to this version, so you won't typically see that in you won't see it in other versions because it doesn't exist. And in this one, it has significantly more power than the weapons that you would typically see in the other versions, such as the Mazamune or the Excalibur.
Yeah, I believe it's about 2.5 times the attack power of Excalibur. So it's very, very powerful, and we'll see just how quick work we can make of bosses and things like that here with that Barbarian Sword. So definitely an interesting, and you'll just see, Double, he just did a formation change, and that's because since at this point the warrior is the only character who can use the Steel Gloves, he's the only one who can actually perform the glitch. So he can do it on the characters adjacent to him, and then he can equip it himself, but to get to that fourth character, he has to do a formation glitch and make the Black Mage be adjacent to him. So that's why you see that, and that's why we start with the party in the order that we do, is to make these glitches most efficient. So that's the only formation change required in the whole route. All right, so Nehbless is now on B3 of the Earth Cave. He's going to take a safety save. As we mentioned, B3 is where we can start to see enemies that can petrify us, the cockatrices. And he just got 2 cockatrices here, and he just got petrified, as you can see. That's his warrior. They're usually pretty easy to run from, so the fact that he didn't run from that, but fortunately he has the gold needles. And, wow, he bought 21 of them. He was really thinking he's going to get petrified. Usually 11 is enough. But yeah, if that happens to Double, it's going to be really tough for him. So.
Well, to be fair to Nehbless' side, he's kind of inviting it with the character names that he chose.
Oh, yeah. Bring it on. Yeah.
I mean, I've had a party that spelled out "do your worst," and it resulted in a pretty awful run. So I would say that mission was accomplished on that one.
Yeah. Yeah. So here, Double, of course, not taking the safety save because why would he? Running into some Pisco demons. These guys are the first instance of unrunnable enemies that we'll see in this game.
I'm surprised he's not taking a safety save here because it's one of the easiest ways probably to recover from a quick petrification.
That's true. That's true. Actually, you're absolutely right. He should be doing that. But I think he feels
it's runner's preference. I mean, there's definitely a risk of losing your party to like an ambush from cockatrices or something like that.
Yeah, like even if you have the gold needles, if you get all 4 characters petrified, it's game over. That's why people save here. But you're right, he should have saved because.
I mean, it has definitely happened before. It's not very common, and I don't think it's happened very often in this tournament itself. But the vast majority of players, I think, take a quick safety save there, just in case of that extremely unfortunate turn of RNG.
Yeah, I mean, last year I was in a race where I won because my opponent didn't save.
Here we go. Had cockatrice ambush on Nehbless' side.
Yeah, but only 3 and no petrify. So, and just like that, Double is actually almost caught up, depending on how this floor goes. Double's getting another character petrified, and he's not taking any more chances. He's going to use that judgment staff on these guys. Double says, I win, in reference to getting the ochre jelly battle, which is a 1 in 64 on this floor encounter. It's sort of a sign of good luck in the community. Not really, but...
Well, the race is clearly over now, so...
Yeah.
Now that he's seen that, it's like an instant...
And Double is ahead now. He's back on B2, and Nehbless is still here on B3. So Double has regained the lead. As we prophesized, there's plenty of time for him to make this up. So unfortunately now he still doesn't have those gold needles. So if something were to happen, that would be unfortunate. But now he really has no way to go and pick them up again. He'd have to go all the way back to Elfheim.
I'm not really tracking their splits, so I'm not sure what the gap is at this point. Fiesel's saying 40 seconds.
Yeah.
In Double's favor at the moment.
Yeah, Double's a little shocked that he's ahead, but yeah, that he made up a lot of time in the Earth Cave. That was a really good Earth Cave, honestly. Even though he did get a couple of Pisco demons, just Nehbless got some really bad luck. So.
So both players have made their way here to the Giant's Cave. Once they had made their way down to the Earth Cave, they had to get to the Vampire, and beyond the Vampire was a chest containing a Star Ruby. But if they had tried to go, the Lich is actually on the 5th floor of the Cavern of Earth, but we couldn't reach that at this point. We have to take the Star Ruby over to this Giant's Cave, feed it to the Giant over here, the giant will move aside and let us proceed over to the sage's cave. And the sage Sada inside the cave will reward us after we kill the vampire with the earth rod, which is the item we need to reach the bottom 2 floors of Earth Cave. So at that point, we just have to do a giant backtrack and re-enter the Earth Cave, go through the first 3 floors again, use the earth rod, and then finally proceed to the bottom floors.
Yeah, it's kind of a way.
Picking up the earth rod right here.
Yeah, there's that earth rod, and yeah, that's kind of how they kind of added a little extra content to this game for the NES version. It's like, oh well, instead of making a second dungeon, let's just have you do half the dungeon, leave, and then come back and do the rest of it. So
Double and Nehbless do a quick high five while they're in the sage's cave with each other, and then they start heading the opposite directions. Nehbless is really not far behind at this point. It's still a very, very close race right now, and the RNG can swing it in any direction.
Yeah. Yeah, that giant's cave with the stone giant has a really high encounter rate. Even though it's a small, short cave, it's not uncommon to get 2 to 3 encounters each way. So Double got pretty lucky, and I don't know if he had any. If he had any, it was probably only one. We see on Nehbless' side this shadow encounter. That's kind of a unique encounter in that you can only get a preemptive or an ambush. And actually, the odds are 7 and 8 that you'll get a preemptive. So you'll see lots of preemptives on that encounter group. So if you get an ambush, that's usually a bad sign because they come in big packs. Double here going for poison strats. It's actually a way that you can pretty much ensure that you will win the Lich fight. If you poison your warrior or thief, and they have enough HP to survive his Blizzaga, you can just heal them to full before the fight, and then even the Blizzaga won't kill you, and then you can use that poison to tick down your HP after the fight. It's kind of a clever thing that Double added to this route, and it's kind of unusual to get poisoned, but Double probably may not even save before Lich now because of this. Nehbless catching up. He's only a few steps behind Double now, but gets the Pisco Demon battle, which of course is unrunnable. So Double's going to pull back ahead, and here coming up to this metal plate, which he's going to use that earth rod on, and now he can descend into B4. and then down and go into, this is kind of like a maze-like level with lots of little caverns that you can go through, and then B5, the next level, will be where Lich is. Double getting, I think, maybe 1 encounter on B4. He's really, considering how far behind he was, he's going to have a 34 Lich, and that's pretty good considering he had like a 19-minute Mystic Key. Yeah, so Double here, not going to save. He may have made a mistake by healing his Thief to full, but he's not going to save before Lich. Lich can use Blizzara, which would normally wipe your party out, but he has full HP on his warrior, so that Blizzara will not kill him if he were to use it. Doesn't matter. Lich goes down without attacking, which is the normal outcome, but if Lich outspeeds your characters, he can go before you and kill you.
And Double killing it at 34 minutes. That's a pretty average time for the race. And Nehbless is not very far behind at all. And
yeah, Nehbless is right behind. Yeah, but consider, like I said, Forsyth, considering how far behind he was at Mystic Key, that's actually really good. So
Yeah, he's made up a significant amount of time and turned it into a bit of a lead. We'll have to see if the RNG continues to assist him at this point.
we were talking about why wouldn't you heal up your characters to full before Lich? Well, the reason is we're going to be coming up on the grind fairly soon, and we want our warrior and thief to die so that we can get experience between just for our mages. Basically, the game splits the experience between the alive characters at the end of the battle. So you want to keep the hit points of your warrior and thief low so that Evil Eye, who's the character we're going to grind on, can kill them with one Thundara, but not kill the mages. He's got poison on his warrior, so those HP are going to tick down, no problem. But he made the mistake of healing his thief as well, so he's going to have to do something to get his thief's HP down. He could hope for another poison, or he could. There's some spiked tiles that you take damage on in the ice cave, but that's kind of slow. Or he could just go for defeating the Evil Eye twice and having him use Thundara twice, but that's also pretty slow. So see what he's going to do.
Both sailing here over to Crescent Lake. Crescent Lake is the next destination. Once we've actually killed the vampire here, we can head to Crescent Lake, and there's a circle of sages in the back of the town. One of the sages will award us with a canoe, which is a key item we need to reach the ice cave among several other destinations. And additionally, we'll just do some quick shopping over there, shopping and glitching.
Yeah, I think it's actually Lich you have to defeat, not the vampire.
Did I say vampire? I meant Lich. I'm sorry about that.
Yeah, you did. They just want to make sure you have that first crystal before they'll give you the canoe to go after more. If you're playing the game casually, the Circle of Sages has a lot of information to help clue you in on what to do, but these guys don't need that. They know where to go. And wow, I mean, these two runners are literally 5 seconds apart here. Entering Crescent Lake.
5 seconds.
Within 1 second of each other. So they're going to buy about 40 ethers here. That's enough ethers that they'll need for the rest of the game. Once we get magic, we need ethers to refill that. And then they're going to buy the Mithril Axe, glitch that into the black garb on their black mage and thief. And the black garb is similar to the thief's armor, only it's better. It has a higher evasion or statistic agility, and I think it's like plus 10, so basically you get another 15 added to that, which is going to make running for those two characters even easier, which we'll need because the ice cave has some tough to run from enemies.
Did Nehbless go for the Lust Dagger? I didn't see that, Leonis.
Oh. I don't know. I don't even know where.
It's in the, you can just go into the weapon shop there, or no, the armor shop there, and pick up, I think, probably the same bottom item, whatever that happens to be. I'm not sure. It might be Mithril something, I believe.
Okay.
He did go to the armor shop? I don't know. I didn't see. Oh, he didn't do it. Maybe he'll do it. Maybe he'll do it later.
Yeah.
So, the Lust Dagger seems to be a newer strat that some runners are utilizing this tournament. It's not something I've ever actually seen before this tournament. It's a powerful dagger, which only the Black Mage can have it glitched onto him. Gives him some additional agility, raising his chances again of running away and being the first to act. And there's some theory that it may shorten the amount of time you spend in encounters over enough encounters in the back half of the run. Just shaving seconds off by having your Black Mage be the first one to act, and he can either be the first to run or the first to use a Judgment Staff to clear out a back of enemies.
Yeah, I believe you said that Seiya uses that strat, and well, he's just been crushing it lately. So that definitely lends some credence to me that it's a good strategy. So it's something I'll have to look into.
Yes, it's something I'm personally looking forward to investigating. But one of the runners that is still in the tournament, Seiya 27, has used it to great effect and had a pair of 125 races in this tournament, which is pretty amazing considering that there's only been, I think, 3 125 times at all world record attempts or races or anything. And he's got 2 of them in a race setting where you tend to be a lot more conservative with your saving and taking safety strats.
Nehbless, now we're in the ice cave, which is the most dangerous place, and Nehbless just had Mind Player ambush, and he is paralocked. If he saved, he may want to just reset here. Because Mind Flayers can not only paralyze you, but if they do a physical attack, they can kill you immediately. But he luckily gets here the Judgment Staff off with the Thief, and that should kill them. I don't believe they have that many hit points. Yeah, so he survived that. So probably a good thing that he didn't reset there. He was still on the first floor, so yes, he probably could have, but anyway, so we're moving on. This ice cave is just full of all sorts of dangerous encounters. You see here, he's getting an ambush. Nehbless is getting ambushed by these undead enemies, which can paralyze you and potentially paralock you, and they're hard to run from. So you see here, Nehbless is just going to opt to kill him. That's kind of a smart move in a race, I think. You can try and get lucky, but if you waste like 2 full turns running, then it would have been just faster to kill him. So. In addition to that, with the Mind Flayers and the Undeads, there's also Ice Gigas Winterwolf, who can use Ice Storm on you. There's White Dragons, which can use Ice Storm on you. There's Dark Wizards, which can use Firaga on you. Any of those moves will just kill you. Nehbless here is going to save before this spike tile. So he's going to take 1 step, and he's going to get into an encounter with Undead. And it's kind of wise to save, because if you were to get an ambush, you might just reset. It would be faster than waiting through 9 enemies attacking you. So he gets away. These guys are pretty much tied once again. And as I mentioned, Dubldrop here is he's gonna walk on these tiles and just reduce the hit points of his thief to make sure that he dies to Thundara on the Evil Eye. So now his thief is low enough, but you saw that wasted probably a good 10-15 seconds.
Nehbless getting Ice Gigas Winterwolf here, which is one of the unrunnable combinations, and Dubldrop's
also
getting
Double gets it as well. Oh my goodness. I mean, you have to be careful, even though they're going to choose to attack. If these guys go first, yeah, it can be bad.
That was an unfortunate death for Double there, because he chose to defend with his Black Mage, and then the warrior died before it could act.
Yeah, but he managed to survive. He's not going to heal his warrior here, because the warrior's about to die anyway. Nehbless gets stoned on his thief, but he's not going to heal that either, because he's right up here at the grind fight. So now he only has to worry about his warrior being killed. So Evil Eye can use Thundara, and he does here on the first turn. It's going to kill the warrior and not the mages. So now he's going to go ahead and kill them. Sometimes Evil Eye doesn't cooperate and use Thundara right away, but he does have a move that can be like an instant death or a really high damage move. And so if you only have 1 character alive, sometimes you can not get the Thundara and just have him kill your other alive character. So now Nehbless is going to be fighting this Evil Eye over and over, because that's a spike tile. Evil Eye actually gives a lot of experience. So it's only going to take about 10 or so battles to get these guys up to level 18 plus, and then they're going to fight one more after they hit level 18, which will guarantee that they'll hit level 19 by the time they need to be 19 to get spells. Did Double die? Oh.
No, Double had 2 guys stoned, I think, and
Oh,
managed to
okay.
recover one of them. But he does not have the needle, so he does not have a way to resurrect the thief right now.
Oh, that's right. He doesn't have that needle, but
Octahedron, that is called the Levistone, Collis. That's the key item we need in order to raise the airship from a desert. So we stop in here because the airship is by far the fastest travel method, and also reduces all enemy encounters while you're in the air, so you don't actually get any encounters there.
Hopefully Nehbless picks it up. He hasn't picked it up yet. That could be a huge, costly mistake if he forgets. But I see him in the chat, so he probably... Yeah, he just picked it up. Oh.
Forgetting to pick that up and falling down is one of the worst mistakes you can make in a race, though.
Well,
or a lot of time. You have to walk all the way around in order to get back up to where you can pick it up again. Then you have to fight Evil Eye one more time before you can grab it.
Looks like Nehbless actually did one too many battles. He's already has both characters at level 19, but that's not the worst thing in the world. Leonis sort of poking fun at me in the chat. I forgot the Levistone one time a couple weeks ago. So it can happen if you're not paying attention, but pretty rare. Most people pick it up. Actually, smart thing to do, which I don't do, is if you name the split Levistone, then it helps you remember. Oh yeah, I need to split on picking it up. But mine's just like Evil Eye or something like that. So. Yeah, so now Double, unfortunately, he's going to have to go quite a ways. He's going to have to make it through the Citadel. Or he could divert to, I believe it's Gaia, where you can pick up gold needles. He may just do that after he gets the airship here. But
he's definitely a reset there just because he did not like that encounter and how much time it was wasting.
Yeah.
Gets another 9-pack of enemies though, so we'll have to see if he's able to get away from this one. In the meantime, Nehbless is now taking a lead and is out of the ice cave, heading over to. He's heading over back to his ship to pick up the airship.
Yeah. So once we got that Levistone, and it allows us to raise the airship out of the desert. And then once we get the airship, that's definitely the preferred method of travel. It's faster than the boat or walking, and there's no enemy encounters when you're on the airship. So the only negative side is you can only land the airship on grass tiles. You can't land them on forest or desert or anything like that. So the developers put a lot of the places you need to go pretty far from landing spots. So we'll see some movement like right away when they're going to head to the Citadel, where they have to walk a considerable distance to get where they want to go.
Yeah, so actually an older route of this used to sail over to the Castle of Ordeals because you can actually land or dock your ship at a closer location to get into it than you can to land your airship. Landing your airship, you have to park farther away and walk than you would by sailing, but sailing risks a lot of encounters, and a lot of the encounters you can get on the sea can waste a lot of time.
Yeah, that's the thing. It is a long sail to get to the Citadel.
So Nehbless picks up the airship. Now he's going to head over first to the Citadel, but he's going to have to find the parking spot over here first.
Yep, there it is. And look like he's not going to save here. There's an encounter called Sandworm in this desert that can use Earthquake, which can insta-kill your entire party. So it's pretty rare. I mean, getting the encounter's kind of rare. Getting an ambush is very rare, and having Earthquake kill all 4 is even rarer, so it's pretty low odds, but it has happened before.
It has happened to me, and I'd never had it happen before that it happened to me. So,
yeah.
I mean, if I have enough of a lead, I consider saving there, as it's a very minor time loss. I mean, it takes a handful of seconds to save, and so I mean, a lot of the runner choice is just a matter of if you want to save or not, or risk more encounters. It just wastes a little time, but there's an added layer of security if you just take the saves.
So especially since, in the Citadel here, there is a small chance that you can die too, because there's mind flayers in here as well, and they can insta-kill you or paralock you. So right now, Nehbless is in the Citadel, and he's going through this teleporter maze. The secret to the maze is always take the teleporter on the bottom or on the right, and then it's really easy to make it through.
I mean, each of these runners should know exactly which ones they have to step in at this point. It becomes a thing of memorization after a while.
Yeah. Okay, looks like Double's actually going to choose to go through Citadel with a stone character instead of going out of the way to get the gold needles. Not sure I agree with that choice. I think the diversion to a town to get those needles is more than made up for by the chances of your thief running from battles, but
I mean, to Double's advantage right now, he only has to input three commands every round, so the rounds will be a little bit shorter with one character down, but the risk there is that if he tries to run away, he's only got 3 out of 4 opportunities to run away. So it's a trade-off right now, and he doesn't seem to think it's going to be impactful, or he thinks it's going to be too impactful to go out of his way to fix it.
Yeah. So Nehbless picked up a healing staff and now just the gauntlets here in the Citadel, and those are 2 very important items that we're going to want a little bit later in the run. We're going to use them to glitch into some other weapons and armor. And so then he picks up the Rat's Tail, which is sort of the key item here. And the Rat's Tail is the sort of what's going to allow us to perform the class change, which will be the next thing. So that was actually a really solid Citadel for Nehbless. He got in and out pretty fast.
They did another high 5 on the way in and out.
Yep.
So now that Nehbless has the rat tail, his next destination is going to be just to return to his airship. Once again, he's got to walk there since he parked a little ways away. It is actually the closest landing point, though. Fun fact, though, I went back and played the PS1 version of this not too long ago, maybe a month or 2 ago, and discovered that the landing tile for the airship does not exist. Or at least the one that's in this version does not exist in the PS1 version. It's actually still covered with grass there, and you have to land even farther east in order to get over there.
Wow. Well, thanks to the developers for putting that one that's a little closer then.
Yeah, they just did some logging in that area or something.
Yeah. So,
Double, meanwhile, getting new encounters with nightmares over here. This is a runnable encounter, but with the equipment we have on our characters, it can be a little difficult to run from. So it tends to be faster to just attack them straight out. There will usually only 1 or 2 spawn. And it's also a forced spawn on that specific tile that he's encountering them.
Yeah, and fighting that encounter sort of helps guarantee that they'll get to level 19 on their mages, between that and the dragon zombies that are spike tiles here. If you are lucky enough to get a preemptive, obviously it's a first turn run on preemptive, so a lot of times I will just run, and then you might have to fight the dragon zombies twice, which is faster than fighting those nightmares. So Nehbless talking to Bahamut, who gives you the class change. And the class change basically just allows your characters, it gives you increased stat growth. It also allows you access to equip more weapons and armor, and also to purchase and use more spells. So it's it's definitely pretty important in this run because of the spells that we need. That's the main reason for it. There was a previous
of spells. Yeah, Nehbless is going into Melmond over here to pick up the first of the spells we need. In this case, we'll pick up Heal Aura here and Teleport, each for one of the mages.
Yep. And then he's going to head over to Elfheim and pick up Haste. And those are the only 3 spells that we purchased in the entire game.
And for those that may not be familiar with this particular remake, and I believe beginning in the GBA version, the spell charges system that was present in the NES and PS1 versions was replaced in this version with an MP system that's much more similar to the later games in the series.
Yeah. Yeah, but they still can only get 3 spells of each level for each character. So you kind of you can't get every spell. You kind of have to pick and choose which ones you want. Which we don't use red mages, but for red mages it's even more important since they have access to white and black magic. A lot of times they have access to potentially up to 8 different spells that they can use for those 3 slots instead of 4 for the white and black mages. But
Nehbless taking a safety save here at the beginning of the Mount Gulg, which is a little unusual because Mount Gulg is not a particularly dangerous dungeon here. You'll see Nehbless stepping on a lot of these lava tiles here. Each tile he steps on does 1 damage to each of his party members, but the advantage of doing that, he'll actually maximize his character movement to step on as many tiles as possible because you cannot get random encounters on these tiles. So that will lower his overall encounter rate, and it's entirely possible to get 0 encounters throughout this entire dungeon, or maybe only a handful.
Yeah, I'd say like 2 is average.
So safety saving here doesn't tend to be necessary.
Yeah, I usually just go, and then about halfway through I heal up, and then that's good enough to take me all the way so I have enough HP to defeat Marilith, even if she were to use her fire spell.
Personally, I like to go through the whole dungeon myself without healing, but I do that more in record attempts as opposed to a race. I think it's much more dangerous to try to risk encounter killing you if you happen to run all the way through it without healing.
Yeah, I go ahead and do it just so that I can use my ethers on my characters, but my black mage as well, because I used to not ether the black mage there, and then I had to do it in Sunken Shrine, so I just sort of used ethers both there to sort of minimize my menus. So you see on Nehbless' side, Marilith goes down really fast. She only takes 2 to 3 hits. And usually you're so much faster than her that she doesn't get an attack off. She can use like a fire attack, which can do a moderate amount of damage, but you're pretty safe unless you got all the way down to like 1 HP and then she used it. So don't do that.
Double finally picking up gold needles over here now that he opted to skip them earlier, so will finally resurrect his thief after all this time, and he'll get to participate in the fun once again.
Yep.
Double having a little trouble with fences there.
Yeah, the fence boss.
He's overpowered.
Yep.
You're doing a little high five there with your airships.
Yep. High five again. One's leaving the volcanoes, one enters. So the next place is we're going to stop here and go to the caravan and pick up a fairies bottle, which is an item that we need to continue on with the game, as well as we're going to pick up some Giant's Tonics, which Giant's Tonics give you 200 extra max HP in one battle. We're going to probably need them for Chaos on a couple of characters, so it's definitely just safe to just pick those up right there. And then, so now, after picking up that fairies bottle, we go straight to Gaia, and as soon as you step in Gaia, the fairy escapes from the bottle, and then you have to go chase it down. And when you find her, she's way on the other side of the town. She will give you Oxyale, which is an item you need to breathe underwater, which is good because the next elemental shrine is underwater, and we need to breathe. So. So we'll see here. Nehbless may use teleport to leave this town. It's only a few steps to exit the town actually from here, but a lot of people use teleport here, myself included, just to set up the next menu. But he's going to choose to walk out of town. So that just means when he gets to Sunken and he needs to use teleport, going to have to select it from the menu, which it's just a slightly faster to do it once there. So.
Double finishing up Marilith on the other side.
Yeah, that seemed like it was a pretty quick Mount Golg for Double, so maybe making up a little bit of time. So Nehbless is going to head. Oh, he gets Ice Gigas Winterwolf here, which is unrunnable as always. So that'll slow him down a bit, but he's about to head into the town of Onrak, and Onrak is where the Sunken Shrine is sort of located beneath the city, or just off the coast, I guess. And so he's going to talk to this mermaid here and then jump in the barrel and head down to the Sunken Shrine. And the Sunken Shrine is an interesting dungeon. It's got good music, but there's a lot of unrunnable encounters in the Sunken Shrine. This is where the unrunnables really start to step up. And basically, if we see water elementals, Sahagin Prince Chiefs, like we just see right here, like literally one step off the ladder, Nehbless gets the Sahagin Prince Chiefs. These guys are unrunnable. He's going to have to use this Judgment Staff with one of the mages in order to kill all 9 of them at once. And then there's also a ghost encounter, which is an undead encounter that is unrunnable as well. So there's other encounters in this dungeon. You really want to see those because most of them aren't hard to run from. But you can make up or lose a lot of time in this dungeon, essentially. And this dungeon is sort of, there's 2 goals. The first goal is to head up to the top floor and get the Rosetta Stone, which is another key item that we're going to need to get to the next elemental dungeon. And then once we get that, then we can head back down to the bottom and defeat Kraken, the 3rd elemental fiend. So you see here Nehbless getting that ghost encounter. He's just going to use that Judgment Staff again. Ghosts can sometimes come in packs of 2 or 3, and sometimes it's faster to use your sword against them, but definitely with 5, you definitely want to use Judgment Staff. I think the rule of thumb is if three enemies, it's just as fast to use the sword as Judgment Staff in general. So if you see less than 3, it's probably faster to use the sword. You see more than 3, it's fast to use the Judgment Staff. And if you see exactly 3, just use the one that you're already on, is sort of the rule of thumb. So here on the top floor of the Sunken Shrine, there's actually no encounters on this floor. So Nehbless is just going to run and pick up the Rosetta Stone here. And then he's going to use teleport. Teleport takes you basically back a floor. So he's going to use teleport twice in a row, and he'll be back on the floor that he entered the Sunken Shrine on, and then he can start heading down.
You see Double getting a Water Naga elemental. Water elementals are actually unrunnable, but in this particular formation, they actually are runnable. Or I'm sorry, Nehbless is seeing this.
Yeah, Nehbless, and for whatever reason, the water elementals, when they're by themselves, they're unrunnable, but paired with that Water Naga, they're not. Here you're going to see Nehbless switching to the swords, because there's only 2 ghosts.
The animation of the Judgment Staff is quite long, so it's not particularly worthwhile for him to use it if there's only a handful of enemies.
Double getting trolled over there by the blue hair NPC on his way into Sunken Shrine. There's a couple of NPCs in this game which are notorious for just blocking your way for no good reason, including some brooms in Matoya's Cave and a couple other NPCs. There's a lot in Lufenia, as we'll see in a little bit. So Nehbless now going to pick up this light axe, and he's now going to go into the most complicated menu of the game, where he's going to basically turn that light axe into survival vests for 3 of his 4 characters. And survival vests are an upgrade on the Thieves' Armlet and Blackguard. They basically increase your agility even more, and now we can run from pretty much anything. There's still some that might give us trouble, but even those nightmares, which were nearly impossible to run from before, are not too bad there. But you notice he's going to glitch actually the Lordly Robes, which was glitched from that healing staff that he picked up in the Citadel, and he's going to glitch 2 Lordly Robes on the White Mage. And the Lordly Robes increase your intelligence by a great deal, so that'll make the damage she can do from like the Judgment Staff or the healing that she can do for Chaos more than any other character. So
Nehbless making an error here. He's trying to run away from the Sahagin Prince and Chief encounter, which is unrunnable. Unfortunately, doing that means all 9 of the enemies get to attack, and his characters will run fruitlessly, wasting a lot of time. Double has the Rosetta Stone now and is teleporting back down towards the start of the Sunken Shrine, and now he's going to head back in the other direction to start heading towards Kraken at the bottom.
Yeah.
Double also getting this Water Naga Water Elemental encounter, which again is runnable. That's very fortunate for him.
Yeah, someone in chat here at Real Abruzzi asking about the weapon glitch. Essentially, you basically press R or L on the same frame as you press X, and if you have the memory cursor, basically it tries to put the armor or weapon with the same ID as the armor or weapon you originally selected. So it lets you basically glitch a different item onto different characters by sort of fooling the game by pressing 2 different actions on the same frame. So Nehbless here is now on Kraken. Pretty good Sunken Shrine from him. A few unrunnable encounters, but not too many. And Kraken's kind of a pushover. You just use your sword, and he'll go down in about 3 hits. So now this is the point in the run where we start kind of looking at our HP values. So usually the warriors and white mages HPs are pretty high and nothing to worry about, but the thief or the ninja and the black wizard may have some problems, and basically we'd really like to see them be over 200 at least at this point. For the final battle against Chaos, you want them to be around 270-ish or more. But there's still plenty of levels to be gained. So at this point, though, if you're under 200 on either character, you're not looking too good. And you can use that Giant's Tonic, like I mentioned, to raise your HP, but that wastes a turn, and it would be good if they can get it under there. But unfortunately, there's nothing we can do to change that.
Nehbless is out of the Sunken Shrine now and is heading towards the Waterfall Cave, which is located just a little bit north of where Onrak was. So he's going to head through here, and he gets an unrunnable Ice Gigas encounter there first. Now he's going to use the canoe and sail up here and step into the waterfall. The waterfall is just one long, windy, twisty corridor. It's only 1 floor long. At the very end of it is a treasure room, and inside that treasure room is a robot that's containing a key item we need, the Warp Cube. And also we'll pick up one of the chests in there, which contains a ribbon, and use it to perform another equipment glitch. In a unique situation in this one, we'll turn it into an item called the Gigantax. We won't actually use the Gigantax, but we'll use the Gigantax, then perform another glitch to turn it into multiple copies of the ribbon. And we see an unfortunate ambush here on Nehbless's side with Pyralisks. Yeah, the Pyralisks can use Gaze, which can kill your characters. Fortunately, only 2 gazes and only one of them hit. Nehbless not taking any chances. He's going to use the Judgment Staff here. They're usually pretty easy to run from, but I think with one character already dead, he didn't want to take any chance.
Yeah, like you said, this cave has a really high encounter rate. It's ridiculous. It's not that long of a cave, but it takes time to get through because like it seems like every 5 steps you're getting into an encounter.
Gap looks to be about 2.5 minutes after Kraken.
Yeah. Still easily made up in Chaos Shrine. Even without a death on Chaos, you can make up 2.5 minutes on Chaos Shrine easily if you have a really good shrine. Yeah, inopportune. Yeah. We talked about this a little earlier, but there's a definite reason for all of the characters. The mages have specific spells that we need. The warrior has access to equip more items than any other character and specific items that we need for the glitches we do. And then our ninja does the most damage of any character because he can get lots of attacks off. So that's the reason why we use that party.
Double getting another Ice Gigas Winterwolf unrunnable over here.
Yeah, those guys are really showing up for this match. I think each runner has gotten at least 3 encounters with them already.
In the meantime, we've got Nehbless doing the ribbon menu I described earlier. And you'll notice he's putting it on the shield slot, unlike the other pieces of armor we've done earlier. The reason for this is that the vast majority of pieces of equipment that we can glitch, if you were to glitch them onto the shield slot, if an enemy was to attack you and you block in combat, it may call an invalid block animation and soft lock the game. So in doing so, is it soft lock? I don't know if it's soft lock or hard lock.
It's a hard lock, I believe.
Either way, it unfortunately ends your run, or at least sets you back quite a bit of time. The ribbon is one of the few items you can actually safely glitch onto a shield slot, which is why we choose to do that. Advantages of ribbon is it reduces the power of many status effects cannot affect you that previously, such as poison and stone, can affect us when we're ribbon or are greatly reduced. And additionally, it reduces the damage we take from elemental attacks.
So Nehbless has made it back to his airship, and now he's going to head to the town of Melmond for a 3rd time. And he's going to talk to Dr. Una, who's this linguist guy who's just hanging out in the graveyard for some creepy reason. And he basically is going to teach us Lufenian, which allows us to talk to the people in Lufenia. And we need to go into Lufenia to get a key item to allow us to enter the Mirage Tower, which is sort of our gateway to the final elemental fiend, Tiamat.
So we see Nehbless over here searching for a landing spot to get to Lufenia. Much like the Citadel earlier, the only real landing spot in this area is a little far away from the town. So he's going to have to park and then walk his way over there.
Yeah, James Borg 99. To answer your question, yes, the sword animation you see come up on the characters when they get attacked. That is the animation that gets called up when you have the ribbon in your shield slot, and it's just kind of fortunate that that ribbon, has a valid animation. So that was it. Nehbless here getting these Minotaur zombies. These are very common on the walk to Lufenia, and they are unrunnable. So anytime he runs into a group of just Minotaur zombies, or if there's trolls as well with them, he's going to have to fight them. So this is a huge place for someone to make up or lose time, because if you just get nothing but them, you have to keep fighting these guys and just wasting a lot of time, versus somebody that gets other encounters. Like even these winter wolves are just easy to run from. So Nehbless is now into Lufenia. This is where all these NPCs who just love to block these narrow bridges show up. So he's just going to have to push on them and hope that they don't get in his way. Not too bad there. You can waste a lot more time just there. And he's picking up that chime item, which, like we said, will let us get into the Mirage Tower.
Nehbless is all set now. He's got the chime, and he's heading back to his ship first. Once again, getting Minotaur zombies and trolls. Minotaur zombies are unrunnable, so any encounter they come up with, including by themselves or with these trolls, is unrunnable. So Nehbless having to dispatch that, it's just slowing him down a little bit. Time loss is the biggest enemy at this point. Our characters are pretty safe from most attacks for the next section. They may be at risk later against some of the attacks from enemies you see in the Chaos Shrine, but until we reach that point, we're not in particular danger of wiping unless we're just negligent in healing our party. Nehbless is actually sailing on these tiles, these river tiles over here, because the encounter rate on them is lower than the forest tiles that are nearby. So it should, in theory, lower his encounter rate, or at least give him a lower chance of getting encounters.
Right. Plus, there's no Minotaur zombies on the lake, so
there are no unrunnables there. That's right.
Yeah.
So Double's on his walk down to there. In the meantime, Nehbless has started on the Mirage Tower. After you pick up the chime and you have the warp cube for the waterfall cave, you have the items you need in order to be able to go through the 2 stages of this final crystal dungeon.
Yeah. And the Mirage Tower especially has a ridiculous encounter rate. There's just tons of enemies on this floor. So that can actually make a huge difference. If he gets a lot of ambushes and Double doesn't, Double could make up some time there. But actually going pretty well for Nehbless here.
To answer your question, Hellfire, is the item glitch PSP only? Yes, it is only in this PSP version. It may be present in the mobile versions, which I believe are based on this version, but I'm not particularly familiar with those.
Yeah, I think basically because like on the mobile version you can't like press buttons, it's all touch screen probably. You probably can't do it at the same time, but not sure. So Nehbless here is getting into this blue dragon encounter. That's a spike tile. That tile will always have a blue dragon on it, and they're unrunnable, so we have to beat it. But they go down in one hit from the sword, so it's not a big deal.
And James, to answer your question, I believe Double and Nehbless are both playing on emulator. I think the majority of players in this tournament, especially those that were left, are playing on emulator. I know Cruel is playing on console, Leonis is playing on console, but I'm not sure if there's any others that are currently still in the tournament. I play on console myself, and there may be a handful of others, but most of the runners will be playing on emulator because it's more widely available.
Yeah. Yeah, James Borg. It's very easily accessible, and a lot of people. It's easy to pick this game up in just a few hours, to be honest. Once you learn the route and learning how to do the glitch, it's really simple. So I encourage anyone who's interested in this run to check that out. There's plenty of resources in our Discord server, which I'm not sure if someone can throw a link out there in the chat for that, but. There's plenty of resources online to do that, to learn this run. It's pretty simple. Or you can just watch any top runner in their run and see what they do.
Hey Roach, how you doing? We have Nehbless just powering his way through the encounters here on the Flying Fortress. I believe he's on the 4th floor now.
Yeah,
this
he's
is
on
actually
the 4th.
an endless you can actually walk endlessly in any direction in this particular 4th floor. It's kind of a 4x4 grid though. So the easiest way to reach the exit from where you start is just to go up or down 2 corridors, and then either left or right 2 corridors, and that should take you to the exit teleporter that will lead to the last floor.
Yeah.
Nehbless is now on the last floor here.
On the last floor, this last floor contains the Warmech, which is the hypest enemy in the game. It's only a 1 in 64 chance to appear. Actually, I think Nehbless didn't save, so it's probably fine. It's unlikely to get to Warmech. Having trouble running from these air elementals. Devil's right on his heels. Only 1 floor behind. So Nehbless makes it to Tiamat, who's the boss of this place. He's pretty easy. He usually goes down in about 4 hits. He does have like a Thunderbolt attack, which can do a little bit of damage, but Nehbless's characters have enough HP to tank it.
Yeah, Double has closed the gap significantly after all that run.
Yeah, I think he's probably about 30 to 40 seconds behind now. It's usually about 30 to 40 seconds to
That's a
talk
gold
to the
split
boss.
for Double, it looks like. Gold split for Double, and that would be about 22 if their splits are accurate. 22 seconds difference.
So, yeah, it's going to be a close one now. Definitely. Like I said, 30 to 40 seconds is nothing. Nothing in the Chaos Shrine.
Double indicating he's going to yellow again. Once again, that may not be necessary at this stage. I mean, the
Yeah.
RNG Nehbless can get here could be more than enough for Double to pass him. We'll have to see. But in the meantime, Nehbless parks outside and heads in here.
Yeah, so Nehbless now in the Chaos Shrine. And we use the little portal here in the middle of the shrine to go back in time 2,000 years to defeat Garland and the 4 fiends in the past, because it's a time loop, and that somehow prevents them from coming into the future. So that's our job, is to break this time loop. Of course, both he and the 4 fiends are stronger in the past. So.
That is, in fact, another bonus dungeon that cutscene plays when you enter here. It's a PSP exclusive bonus dungeon in this one. But in the meantime, Nehbless took a quick safety save and heal as he started the shrine, which is wise because of these white dragons he just ran into. They can use their Ice Storm attack, which wastes a bunch of time and does a lot of damage to our party. If enough dragons keep doing it, it will risk wiping our party.
Yeah. Lots of unrunnable encounters in the Chaos Shrine, like these green dragons, the purple worms that we've already seen, and those zombie dragons. There's quite a few unrunnable encounters, so they're just going to really hope that they run into or runnable encounters, essentially.
Ooh, Double walks the wrong way, but it doesn't hurt him.
Yeah.
It was getting a lot of green dragons that was just slowing him down.
Yeah.
Double also getting him, though. This is kind of what I expected, honestly, in this race. I mean, just green dragons on this floor and Ice King's Winterwolf on the next floor could prove very, very decisive in the race.
Yeah.
So Nehbless reaches Death Eye here.
Yeah.
Death Eye is not a particular risk to us in this version. It goes down in 1 hit.
Yeah. So here, Nehbless is using that loot that we picked up at the very beginning of the game. Looks like Double's about 20 seconds behind at Death Eye. So he's picked up that gap even more. It was about 30 seconds at Tiamat, now only 20. Nehbless, though, didn't get an encounter in that floor with the Ice Gigas Winter Wolves. That's really going to help him. And Double gets the Ice Gigas Winter Wolf, which is just awful because you have to use the Judgment Staff with the White Mage in order to kill them. The Black Mage doesn't do enough damage to kill the Ice Gigases. So,
alternatively, Double could have chosen to attack with his other melee characters on the Ice Gigas to try to finish that round, but it would take 3 character actions versus the 1 of the White Mage. So it's up to runner preference at this point. This is another slow encounter for him here, so this is not helping him.
Yeah, Double letting us know that he didn't pick up any Giant's Tonics for some reason. It takes literally 2 seconds.
He's been playing very risky with his whole run, honestly.
Yeah, his ninja seems to be high enough that he'll probably be okay. Yeah, already at 285. So his ninja's good, but the Black Mage...
Well, I don't know about good. I wouldn't feel comfortable with anything under 300.
Oh, sure, but he still has the 4 Fiends to go, so he'll get a couple more levels.
Nehbless, meantime, is at the first of the 4 refights and gets a flare, which is unfortunately probably going to wipe most likely his ninja and Black Mage here.
Yeah.
But he's probably good enough to still get through the fight safely.
Yep, he does.
Double's getting sacked by encounters on... Now he's on the White Dragon floor over here. They're affectionately known as Double Dragons, as they've ruined a number of attempts for Double in world record attempts in the past.
Yep.
And he's getting Purple Worms here, another unrunnable, so it's not a particularly long unrunnable, but he's just 2 floors behind right now.
Yeah. But, like, this is Marilith's floor. It's pretty short, so you're probably not likely to make up much time here. But the next floor, Kraken's floor, is pretty long and has some unrunnables, so a lot of time can be gained or lost there. Double, unfortunately, getting these Earth Elementals, who are unrunnable and give practically no experience. So if you're going to get unrunnables, you want to see a dragon or a purple worm or something like that that gives decent experience. Double's probably... Is he going to heal? He's going to heal.
Well, if he's not saving, it's wise to heal.
Yes, yes. Usually, if you heal the full, at least your warrior and White Mage should survive.
This Earth Medusa encounter, though, is really not what he's looking for right now.
Yeah.
Those gaze animations take many, many seconds to animate, and if enough of them do that, particularly in an ambush, that can waste a lot of time.
Double takes down
Kraken's floor, which is one of the better, or one of the more RNG heavy floors left at this point, and getting a water elemental encounter, which is unrunnable. So this is Double's opportunity to try to catch up.
Only 3, though, so that means he can attack with his sword and not waste the time to switch his menus up. It's common to get 5 or more water elementals here.
Here's another 4-pack he's got to deal with.
Yep.
I mean, he can take them all out with his attacks, or he could opt to use the Judgment Staff as well on his mages. That would be enough to kill the water elementals.
It is enough, but then he'd have to switch it back to fight Kraken, so it's probably smarter to just go with that. 4 more water elementals.
Got a Faraga on Double's side from Marilith that just lowers his health. It means he's probably going to have to waste a second or 2 in the menu healing up before he takes on Kraken.
Yeah.
Nehbless, meanwhile, is about to step onto Kraken's tile, I believe.
Yep, there's Kraken.
Refights are basically the same as the first time around. The bosses just have a little more HP. In Tiamat's case, it will be a 2-round fight.
Yeah. They've upgraded their moves, too. Like, Lich had Blizzaga in the first battle, but has Flare in this one. So
6-pack of water elementals, not what Double wants here.
Yeah, getting those water elementals, not good.
These air elementals proving stubborn once again for Nehbless.
Yeah.
They are runnable, though.
They are runnable. They can be a little tricky to run from. So Nehbless here just decided to attack with the Black Mage. Some people like to use haste on the ninja with the Black Mage in this battle, but the haste practically guarantees a 2-round kill. Sometimes if you don't use it, it'll last 3 rounds. Yeah, it looks like a 3-rounder for Nehbless. But he takes Tiamat down. His Kraken goes down on Double's side.
Double's not particularly far behind. His Kraken has one of the shorter floors. Or, I'm sorry, Tiamat. Tiamat has the shortest floor, but Nehbless is now on the final floor, so he's going to reach Chaos. He's going to do some quick menuing and set up his party for this final fight. Ooh, Double getting purple worms here. This is not what he wanted to see on Tiamat's floor. That's just slowing him down.
Yeah, that's no good.
Nehbless putting on glitching an item called the Golden Staff onto his mage to increase her intelligence. She'll be on healing duty for the entirety of this fight. And then he took a safety save just in case he needs to reset. The first 2 turns are probably the most critical in this upcoming fight. We just need our characters to survive their attacks, and then need to get some tonics up on any characters that have low health, and then heal up as much as possible.
Yeah, so Nehbless is definitely in the driver's seat here, but if Chaos decides to troll, he may have to reload that save and start over, so pretty much going to take that. It would take some pretty interesting doing for Nehbless to lose without having to reset.
Okay, so we got tonics off on both, and Blizzaga is an excellent start because it's not going to do enough damage to our party members here. So the White Mage should be able to recover the HP and put them up to pretty safe levels.
Double getting a 3rd encounter on Tiamat's floor, that's no good. But he's now on Chaos's floor, and he'll heal up, but I think he's going YOLO. He's not going to save, so which is risky because
he's not even going to do anything. He's not even going to ether or anything. He must already think he's out high enough. I didn't see him heal. I didn't see him ether.
Did he do the menu?
Yeah, he did the menu. That's all he did.
Okay, well, let's hope. Oh, I'm seeing rips in the chat from Double. See what happens.
In the meantime, is now on his fourth round of combat. All of his characters are hasted, and he's actually in pretty good shape. Oh, Double didn't heal, so that's going to be dangerous.
Yeah.
And Blaze right off the bat. Oh, that's really not good.
Yeah.
It depends if that kills more than that's 2 guys down. That's already going to be pretty hard to recover from. And he did not take a safety save, so that may be unrecoverable.
Yeah.
Or at least certainly not going to be able to beat Nehbless with that happening, though.
Chaos goes straight into Tsunami, which is not what you want to see. He's surviving on both his characters. There's pretty much no chance here for Double. He's going to run out of MP before the warrior by himself can do anything. An unhasted warrior, there's no chance.
And Nehbless takes down Chaos pretty safely on his side.
Takes him down. Yep.
So Double's going to try to finish it out, but it's going to be difficult given his current party state.
Yeah, even if he had had the tonics and saved and healed, Chaos is just giving him a really bad pattern here with Cyclone now. Basically his strongest attack.
He's attacking with a White Mage, which I'm not sure I've ever seen that.
Yeah, the White Mage doesn't do much damage with that Golden Staff, I can tell you. 2 damage. Yeah.
You take that, though, Chaos. You take that 2 damage and you think about it, though.
Yeah.
That should be the final straw right there, is that Blaze. So Double gave it his all. But that's unfortunate.
I tried.
Yeah, you did. And do we have Nehbless in the chat as well? No.
No idea.
That should be the fun.
Well, Double,
I had
what
one
are your
good split that
thoughts?
run.
Yeah, the
That was a pretty
Tiamat
good,
split.
Tiamat split, right?
So that was
Really
gold by
good.
like 30 seconds,
All.
dude.
That's
That
unfortunate.
was
Yeah,
insane.
You caught up like 2 minutes
Yeah.
on Nehbless there.
I'm not surprised. That split
yeah.
was insane, but the rest of it was terrible. my Earth Cavern was kind of average. Other than that, everything was poor.
Did you feel justified in like cutting all these corners Double? Because it seemed like you took a relatively risky path throughout the entire run. I mean, you didn't.
I was like 3 minutes behind multiple times, so I YOLO'd the crap out of it. I knew if I lost, like, I'm out of the tournament, so I might as well, play risky and see if I can win, because RNG was definitely not on my side.
No.
I mean, you caught up a pretty significant amount. I mean, especially by, where was it? I'm trying to remember where exactly. I think by Tiamat it was pretty close.
Yeah, well, my Tiamat split was like a minute 15, which was gold by like 30 seconds. And that's why I caught up so much time. But I wasn't banking on like an insane split like that. I was expecting to have to catch up by cutting corners. Like, I knew going into the Chaos fight I had no Giant's Tonics, so if he blazed first turn, I was going to die anyway, because that pretty much meant he was going for Mad Pattern. So that's why I didn't even bother to heal. Because I say, if I get a physical first turn, then it's fine. But I knew how far behind I was going into Chaos, especially with the 4 encounters on Tiamat floor. I had to try something,
Yeah.
Like, I took a lot of risks, but I knew what I was doing when taking those risks. It wasn't just blindly trying to cut corners.
Yeah, I don't know that I would have not picked up the Giant's Tonic. That only takes like 2 seconds.
Yeah, well, it wasn't about the time it takes to buy it, but the time it takes to use it in the Chaos fight, and I was expecting to be behind.
Fair enough.
I figured if I wasn't going to bother using them in the fight, what's the point in even buying them? Although it did kind of lock me into that mindset in case I did catch up, but I didn't think I was going to.
Yeah.
At least, if anything, I got to show off some YOLO strats and stuff you can attempt on PB attempts if you are so inclined.
Yeah.
When you said you were going YOLO earlier, I thought you were going to go like full emergency exit everything.
Oh, no. I'm not mad enough to go for emergency exit. My 15 puzzle isn't very good.
Well, you're in good company here of us, Forsyth and I, also out of the tournament. So it's just goes to show you that anyone can win in these tournament matches. For sure.
Of course.
Yeah.
Of course. I guess since I'm here, I might as well let everyone know. I was going to make an announcement in the Discord, but I'm pretty much done running FF1 now that I'm out of the tournament. That was my plan going into the tournament anyway. When I got the world record, I decided at the time, I said, 120 time for the game. I was happy with that. If anyone beat it, congratulations to them. But I'm pretty much wrapping it up with FF1, at least from a speedrunning standpoint. I'm still going to be involved in the community for sure as an admin, maybe do the odd races now and again. But I have no intention on pushing my time lower than I have. So to everyone else on the leaderboards that's trying to cut down the time, man, I'll tell you this: 122, 123, it's possible. I've seen what's possible in this game, and it's definitely possible. To Seiya and Sigma, who both bopped me recently, congratulations. You guys can push the game a lot further than I have, and it's in your hands now.
Yeah, well, we're gonna miss you, but like you said, you're still gonna be involved in the community and do a race every now and then for fun.
Oh yeah, for sure. And I mean, if you guys have any any interesting ideas for route changes. Like, I see this Lust Dagger strat that intrigued me while I was running. I was trying to figure out what it was about. Like, yeah, no, by all means, I'll help you guys test stuff if you really want.
Well,
I'm
that's
very intrigued
cool.
because it's just Saya's times have been so low in races that I have no choice but to think that that's got to be part of the reason for it.
Well, the interesting thing is with that, I guess if it increases your agility, you can put it on the White Mage, and then give the White Mage Lordly Robes, and then go for the Black Robe strats, and just destroy unrunnables with those. And there's no downside to it anymore because you have the agility on the White Mage with her weapon to be able to outspeed everything, which you didn't have before.
Yeah, and we also discovered, I think Game Boy discovered recently, that intelligence is actually part of the formula for running, so that helps the White Mage.
Yeah, I noticed that. That doesn't surprise me in the least, though.
Yeah.
That's why the White Mage can still consistently run, even though she has no agility. As for the question in chat, what my next game is, I haven't really decided what I'm going to pick up seriously yet. I'm learning and running FF2 right now for the FF Relay, but I'm not sure if I will actually seriously run that like I did FF1. But I'm looking for a new game.
Yeah. Well, yeah. You bopped me in FF2 after my 1 week of attempts. Well,
Let's see.
I want at least like a sub 305 in FF2. That's my goal, but that's pretty easily obtainable.
Yeah.
Actually, to be honest, what I really want to do is learn all of the PSP games. Like FF1, I already know. FF2, I'm learning. I want to learn 3 and 4 PSP so I can do a relay of all 4 games.
Be pretty cool. I'd definitely watch that.
I think Nikki Knoll has attempted it at least once.
So now that you're out of the tournament, Double, who would you say that you're rooting for, or who would you say that you is expecting to win based on what you've seen?
Based on what I've seen, I'm fairly confident Seiya's taking this one. He's got the crazy RNG recently, like 2 125 times in the tournament. I'd say that's where my money is if I had to wager.
Yeah, Mr. Jeffy Boy is also surprised me a bit. His times are really great too, and he's actually the one that knocked Seiya down into the losers bracket. So
Yeah.
it could come back down to a rematch between those two. I could totally see that happening.
I must say I'm extremely impressed by the times I'm seeing in races in the tournament. Like, until I got 125 right before the tournament, that was nobody had it, and now 125s are just like flying around everywhere. It's crazy.
Yeah. Especially when they happen in races. That's just insane.
Yeah, that's crazy.
So unfortunately, we have to say goodbye to Double for this tournament, and at that point, that means Nehbless will advance, and his next opponent will be Cruel. That will be a tough match for both, because both are excellent runners.
Yeah.
And I think that means only 7 people left in the tournament at this point. So this won't be going on too much longer, but it's going to be a good ride while it lasts.
That it will be.
Definitely. Well, congrats, Double, and thanks, Forsyth, for co-commentating with me, and also want to say thanks to Feasel and Speed Gaming for hosting us this year. It's been really great.
Yeah, I'll just say thank you, Sigma. I'll also say thank you to Double and Nehbless for the race tonight, and thank you, Double, for being the admin on FF1 as well. It's and for helping organize this tournament in the first place.
Yeah, it's my pleasure. It's kind of hard to do it with my crazy work schedule recently, but we're trying.
I mean, just before you guys announced it, me and Sigma were like, man, I wish they would do this again. So I was very happy there was another one.
Yeah, we want to make this a yearly thing for sure.
Yeah, it definitely brought me back. I probably hadn't done a run in about 6 months, so it brought me back into it. So I'm really glad for that. So it looks like I took a peek at Speed Gaming calendar. Don't see anything on the calendar coming up tonight, but there's definitely stuff coming up tomorrow on this channel, and then there's more races, I think, later in the week for FF1.
Alrighty, guys, I think with that, we'll say goodnight. Thank you, everyone, for watching, and have a good evening.
All right,
Good
take
night,
care,
everyone.
everyone.